Oh, that's wild. It works. Let me check this one. Seems to work as well. Okay, fine. Okay, perfect. Let me quickly adapt the chat window so that I can see it properly. Okay, that looks good. Test me. Ooh. Okay, so we got that. Okay, let's continue. So I'm looking into generating code documentation, and not code documentation, but project documentation. But I try to extract it automatically from basically the project itself. So that's the task. And I will just mumble to myself and try to get this going. So the first thing here we want to do is we need to adapt the agents. Hey, C developer. The test is nice. So I'm using Restream to stream to several platforms, and I'm just trying this out. If it works, let's see. So I got a pretty nice thing going on. So we have this project that's called GrammarKit, and it's basically a parser generator for plugins. And it has documentation, but it only has a README and a bit of tutorial. And it was updated, I don't know, maybe last time 6 years ago. I'm not sure, honestly, but it's not really up to date, and it could be better. So I thought, what happens if I take the whole repository and try to create documentation automatically? Readable documentation that doesn't sound like AI, but it's actually really good. I'm not sure if that works out, but what I did here is probably I can increase the stuff here a bit. Zoom. Let's go to 150. I'm gonna close most of this stuff. So what I have here, if I close everything down, is basically just a project that contains nothing than a clone of GrammarKit, which is the original source code. And then I already did some work and extracted basically information from the repository itself, right? So the repository itself contains at least the tutorial and the README, and it has quite some test cases, basically, that could be used as information. And of course, it contains the complete project. So basically, the code tells you how it's working. And I was really wondering, I mean, if the LLMs understand code so good, they should be able to translate that into end user documentation. And I'm not sure we get this going, but we'll see. Okay. I think I'm all set. Yeah. Okay. So, and what I did already is, I can tell you that. So, yeah, I worked offline for quite a while. So what I have is, okay, so I started out with a file list, basically. A file list of the repository, of the code repository, right? So that's really, you can do that with easily. But this one is filtered by usefulness, basically. So how useful is it for documentation? So, and then I got a file that's called meta information, and basically what I did here is every file was inspected, and basically the main content it contains that could be used in documentation, right, is added as metadata. So we see that here, right? So let's say, for instance, here, right, you see how velocity templates are working, and so on and so forth. So then what I did is I went for quite a bit. So I asked ChatGPT to basically find software or APIs or frameworks that have excellent documentation, and I got it to basically pin down the patterns of good documentation for end users. So what it should contain. So I have a file here that contains the general outline for excellent technical documentation, right? And then usually they have a get started. I mean, we know the drill, right? So, and it also contains basically the links to where it was drawn from, right? It has tutorials, it had how-to guides, tasks, concepts, explanation, references for lookup, and so on and so forth. You get the gist. So, and from that, and with all the information I already had, I created a documentation outline for this project. And this reads not too bad, actually, right? So we have a getting started. So what's GrammarKit? When would you use it? Right? What are the prerequisites, and so on and so forth? How to install it? What's needed, basically. It also told me what visual aids would be helpful. Then we have a quick start tutorial. Then we have the core concepts, which of course contain the Bacchus-Naur grammars. And then we have some specific, I think it comes later, some specific attributes, because it's not really a BNF. It's basically an extended BNF that has some attributes that you can put into, right, that basically influences the generation of the parser and how it works. So we got here, then the plugin itself has a live preview, so you can use it directly in the IDE already, and so on and so forth. So, and then, so basically it created a whole thing, a whole outline of topics that should be covered. And from this outline, I told it to create an initial folder structure. And this here is basically mkdocs. Not sure you heard of it. It's I used it before in some projects. So it's basically how you can create documentation easily by just writing markdown files. And I think we can wait, maybe. So it created a whole bunch of stuff. Right, we can just run this here. We can just say either uv something, or we can say make serve. That should work. Let me see. There you go. Then I can open this up. We have an initial documentation. So, and basically I asked that, okay, just leave everything empty for the moment. So there's only to-dos here, right? But the structure is there already. And the last thing I tried was to say, okay, I need to see what it looks like, because I want to work on the text. The text should really be readable. And so I created a getting started stuff. It reads a bit dry, like technical documentation usually does, but it's okay. So, and that's basically where I'm at now. So what I wanted to do now is, I was thinking, I mean, it reads okay, right? If you read through it, it's really okay. So, but it's only the overview. So GrammarKit is an IntelliJ IDEA plugin that generates parsers for custom languages, file formats, and domain-specific languages. It provides a complete workflow from grammar definition to working parser implementation. You write your language grammar using extended Bacchus-Naur form syntax. GrammarKit then generates the Java parser code and the PSI classes that IntelliJ needs to understand your language. The generated code integrates directly with IntelliJ's language support framework, enabling syntax highlighting, code completion, refactoring, and error detection, and so on and so forth. I mean, it doesn't read bad, right? But I have to say, I really worked on that. I really worked on that. So the trick is to give a good prompt for how to create language, right? What do you want to see? What you don't want to see? So, and basically what I got at work here is a whole bunch of agents that I defined. So we got one primary coding agent. I call it coding agent. It's a documentation agent, but already it doesn't really matter, which is called TechDocs. And basically it knows what it is. It's a technical documentation orchestrator, right? And it's for documenting stuff and so on. And it has a bunch of sub-agents available. And these sub-agents have basically specific tasks, right? So for instance, we got one that's called code analyst, who's there to say, okay, we got a topic, we need to document it, and we need to find information from the repository that we need to include in that specific topic. And that is the code analyst. And he can go in and extract basically what we need to cover in the documentation based on the code. So, and then we have a copy editor who just does the small stuff, right? Like working on grammar a bit, right? And looking that everything reads okay. We have a drafter and so on and so forth. You see it, right? Reference checker, example generator, and the topic architect, which basically decides, okay, so we have this topic we need to cover. How can we present it in the, let's say, not in an interesting way, but in a way that that starts slowly, explains the basics, and then goes to more complex. And that will definitely happen with this project here. But then I also have some skills, and I got, for instance, a human style skill, which exactly tells the agent who writes basically the text how I want it to sound. So for instance, never use AM dashes unless absolutely necessary, right? Never use styled quotes, always use straight quotes or straight single quotes. And then we have the voice, right? And you really need to put in a bit of effort so that this works. So for instance, the voice here is write like a calm teammate, clear, direct, respectful, optimize for readers who are capable, busy, and here to complete a task. So avoid humor, jokes, sarcasm, and so on and so forth. You get the gist. So, and then you have a bit of basically how you want the page to look. And that's important because if you've seen AI generated text, it's usually filled with bullet points and one sentence paragraphs that I despise. I think a reader is capable of reading a paragraph, right, and reading a paragraph and getting basically the idea of the paragraph and then go to the next paragraph. So, and then you have really something to read. So that's what I try to enforce here a bit. And the other thing I absolutely hate is how much adjectives and adverbs are used in normal AI generated language. So I basically told it, use plain language and concrete verbs, active voice, right? So here I enforced basically again, like one primary point per paragraph, but allow a paragraph to carry a second tightly related point and so on. So you really have to, so, and I tested this out, right? I took an example, created it, looked at everything that I didn't like, and then I basically adjusted the things here. And I'm not sure it works perfectly, but we'll see to that. Okay, so, and now I'm a bit in the pickle because I have these sub-agents and they were designed a bit differently because now I already got a complete outline and I'm not sure this is going to work. But we can try this out. So so what I wanted to do is I wanted to try to adapt these agents automatically to the current situation. And the current situation is that we have this info directory, which contains all the information I gathered so far. And if we look at the code analyst, for instance, the code analyst here, output files, it has these output files where it should put them, and I'm not sure this is going to work like that. So, and I'm not even sure how I want it to work. So basically I had this idea to say, okay, please work on a section, like for instance, we got here, lecture integration. So there's nothing here, right, except basically the headings. But if we look on our outline, and let me switch here, lecture integration. So we see basically already the bullet points that should be covered. Yeah, it's all good. I'm just mumbling to myself. It's totally okay. So, but it's not enough, probably. So the question here is already that should we cover JFlex? I think JFlex has its own old JFlex. Yeah, I think that's the manual that exists. Good latex style. but it's from 2023, so it's not too old. How are we going to do that? I'm sorry you don't have an image today. I'm still a bit sick. I got a cold. So I'm still a bit under the weather, and I thought I didn't put up makeup tonight. Okay, so examples needed. Okay, let's simply try it out. So expression parsing, parser development, live preview. Okay. Okay, so let's see what happens if we just try this out. You can always just revert it back. So, okay, so I can switch here basically to tech docs. And I can say, let's create a new session. So there you go, tech docs. Okay, document the section 2.3 live preview. For that, inspect the bullet points of this section in, and I think I can do something like that, info, and it's called info, and then documentation outline. And gather all required topics you need to cover. Then research the topic by using the information in info, and then we got in info, should be able to find it out. Info or inspecting the GrammarKit source code directly. Make detailed plan what to cover what topics to cover and what information to include. And write a first draft to, and that's going to docs, I think. Where is that? I don't know. So it's core concepts, docs, core concepts, and it should be here, live preview. Concepts. For writing, please use the human style. Oh, please use the, okay, maybe like that, human style skill. Style skill. And don't forget to include references to other pages. Okay, come on, let's go. So, C developer, if you're still here, what have you been up to? Did you do something interesting? Okay, so you've been working, nothing interesting. Yeah, I got that. Coding small projects. You're still not streaming something, right? Never saw you. I'm not even sure. Am I following you? Let me see. I think. Let me open that. Pretty sure I do. Yes, I'm following already. No, I never saw you online. You're still overthinking that. I think. So I mean, I don't stream often, right? But I promise to do more of that now. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're in the US, right? It's quite there are quite some things going on. I read the news daily, basically, and I don't know, it's not good. At least from the perspective of a European. So I think you have bigger issues. Okay, so you planned out approximately 10 streams and you didn't do one? Christ, I mean, you could just start with the first one and then think of the 11th one. So I was setting up at least I was setting up Restream, which means I can go online now with basically Restream.io. You see it normally in Twitch, right? But I'm also online on YouTube and on LinkedIn. And I have no clue if that's any better, right? But I thought, I mean, if I embarrass myself, I can do it globally on every platform simultaneously. So now let me read the generated draft. Draft looks good. Let me update to-do list. Okay. So I think we go here. I don't know. I see so many other people that I really enjoy. So we got core concepts, live preview, and there it is. So there are two. So okay, so it started again with this stupid make one heading for one sentence. Okay. So I think it's done. So the first draft is there. Okay, so understanding the preview interface. The preview editor. The bottom pane contains an editable text area where you can enter sample input to test your grammar. As you type, GrammarKit parses the content and displays the resulting PSI structure in the structure view. Okay. Structure view integration. The structure view, typically on the left side of the IDE, shows the parsed PSI tree for your preview content. This tree updates in real time, allowing you to verify rule matching, check PSI. So I think that could be a sentence. Okay, evaluator highlighting. Use evaluator highlighting to debug specific rules. With your cursor on a rule in the BNF file. This feature highlights all text in the preview that matches the rule. Green highlighting, successful matched expression. Red highlighting, failed. Okay. The visual feedback helps you understand exactly what each rule matches in your test input. Preview token recognition. Live preview uses a simplified lexer that extracts token from your BNF file's token section. Okay. Understanding how this lexer works helps you write preview-friendly grammars. Token type detection. The preview lexer automatically categorizes token based on patterns. Okay, so this is a keyword or literal. Understand. A number. As a comment. Detection pattern tokens ending with comment. Really? I didn't know that. Is that so? Java identifier patterns, if or while. So I'm not sure I understand that. Token precedence. When multiple tokens could match the same input, the preview lexer follows these rules. Longer matches take precedence. Okay, so now the problem is that we have the documentation, right? And I don't know it by heart. So for instance, like this, I don't know, we had to verify that. Skips tokens that. Okay, so this should be a list. The match only white space characters, that's true, are not referenced in any grammar rule. Okay. All right. Are commonly named, really. So I really hope it extracted that from the source code. But again, it's not supposed to be perfect. Preview limitations. Live preview provides rapid feedback, but has important limitations compared to production. So I think this could be a paragraph. Okay, so use the copy editor and the, how can I reference a skill? Like this? No, I can't. Skills. And human skill. And rewrite this draft. Let's see what happens if it does it. I don't know. Okay, I get something to drink. I'm back in 1 minute. Okay, at least it tells me that the copy editor has significantly improved the documentation. Reduced heading complexity. Okay. So yes, this is true. It's now much shorter. Okay. Lovely. Okay. Let's go through it again. Hey, Abby. Let me tell you, let's say your full name. Abby Sagmo Petra. Oh God. Abby needs to work. Okay, so again, live preview. Live preview provides instant visual feedback. Okay, so it did not change the meaning of the first stuff. Pause real time. This feature eliminates general compile test cycle during initial design. Okay, that's good. Opening, sounds good. This action first creates a preview file, a JSON to your BNF file, splits the editor horizontally. Okay, so this could be so I need to fix some of the prompts because I mean this could be a real list. The preview updates automatically when you modify the BNF file with a 500 millisecond debounce to avoid excessive parsing during rapid edits. Okay. So you C developers, you say you have been using AI prompts more. I'm learning about prompt engineering. I also posted to Discord an example. Yeah, so prompting is fun. And I'm not really sure where this is going because honestly, sometimes it really helps is if you use AI to help you design a prompt. Let me quickly open Discord. I have not. I need to open it. Wait 1 second. Oh, here you go. Act as a professional editor with 15 years of experience. Yeah. So, no, all good. So actually, what I try to do is, so, I think we talked about that in the past. So, when I go to bed, I really like to read. I really like to read fun stuff, right? So no technical documentation, no technical books, just fun. So for instance, right now I'm reading, give me a second, something from Stephen King. Stephen King, it's called 11 something. It's called like that. So, okay, so how can so now I need to find a way how I can answer in chat. So I think I can do that here. Can't post messages to some channels. Yeah, I don't care. So it's called like this. And it's basically about a guy. Oh, that prompt was to help with fictional writing. Yeah. So then you'd be interested in the topic. So basically, so this book is about a guy who has a friend who has a small diner, and in this diner there is a singularity in one of the storage rooms, I think, and you can basically go down some stairs and you end up in 1963 or in 1958, somewhere before 63. So, and you can stay there as long as you want. You can do whatever you want there, and when you come back, only 2 minutes have passed. So, and I think they have the clever plan to wait in the past and basically try to keep Kennedy alive. That's it, basically. They want to somehow divert the attack on Kennedy. So, and it's really fun, right? And basically, I like Stephen King because he has this really nice writing style where you feel how the character is just when characters talk to each other in the book. So, on topic, I thought, okay, so what happens if I give basically a snippet of text to ChatGPT? Yeah, when I give a snippet of text to ChatGPT of someone I really like, I have other authors that I enjoy, right? And let it basically extract why this is good or why this is funny. And then I use basically the prompt to write something. It did not work out exactly how I imagined it, right? Because, I mean, but it works quite well. And then I thought, okay, so I definitely need that for technical stuff or other stuff. I really need to pay attention to the prompts so that the text that comes out does not sound like AI. And it's perfectly possible. I mean, the LLMs have read so much stuff, they should be able to create text that sounds at least good, right? And if you can verify that it's also correct, then nice. Yeah, so I did that as well. So basically I had my, I used a voice in writing style that I extracted from portions of text, and I really enjoyed experimenting with that. So yeah, I think I read the book a second time. I finished another book and wasn't too sure what to read next. Then I asked either ChatGPT or I searched what I could read next, right? And it listed me this book. And then I said, okay, it sounds nice. And I opened it on my Kindle and I saw that I already downloaded it and I thought, oh, that's odd. And it turns out I already read it, but now I started and I'm, I don't know, at 70%. So I will go through with it. It's really nice. There's some good love story in there that I think is very well written. Because of course he, right, when he goes back into the past and tries to try to save Kennedy, he meets someone and so on and so forth. It's and it's really, really well written, I think. Yeah. What was the last fiction book that you wrote? That you read, not wrote. Sorry. So okay. In the meantime, let me check that. So this is really weird. That needs to be checked. So live preview, rapid feedback, and so on. The preview lecture uses basic regex matching only and cannot handle stateful lexing or JFlex advanced features. Yeah, so that's one of the downsides, but in the beginning, it's okay. It may tokenize differently than your production lexer. Yeah, I think I stepped into that trap once. Preview cannot use external token types from JFlex files. Access custom token definitions. Okay, so it really, really wants to put everything into one sentence and make it a paragraph. I hate that. Okay, live preview enables an efficient grammar development workflow. Oh, Christ, you really started ill yet? I think I started it as well. I think in German. And still, I think my wife had to read it or did read it. I'm not sure anymore. So do you enjoy that? Odyssey is the one that you're enjoying more. Okay, fair enough. You know, we have this this German philosopher, Schopenhauer. Let me see. More classical literature? Yeah, that's why I mention him. So it's this guy here, Arthur Schopenhauer. In German, it's Arthur Schopenhauer. I mean, I'm German, I can say it properly. And he was a philosopher, and he was, I think, really cynical and really but I still have some of his work, and what I do have is, I think, his autobiography. I believe I started reading it, and it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And I also enjoyed some other classical stuff. Especially, I reread something that we had to read in school. It's called, let's say, how does it? Oh, wait, can't remember. It was about love, and it was about someone who lost, I think, girl. Ah, Christ. Wait. I'm blanking. I am blanking. So I'm not sure, right? So I did not read the whole philosophy stuff of Schopenhauer. And I think it's quite, you need to be a philosopher to really get into that, I think. But I enjoyed some of the more non-philosophy stuff that he wrote. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so basically, that doesn't look too bad. So how can we prevent that here? Maybe I can just ask, right? Let me copy that. Oh, no, I don't need to copy it here. I have it here as a markdown file. Core concepts, was it here? Live preview. And then we got this limitations. Okay. The question is, should I change now? Let me change to plan. Okay, so question. The copy editor with the human style skill created a section like this. I'm not even sure I can, how can I? Okay, let me try to press Control Enter. Of course it's not. Escape. So how can I get a line break here? No. No. What? I'm pressing everything here. Okay, so can I press paste it, inserted lines? Okay. How can I adapt the humanize or the human style to prevent single sentence paragraphs? And what's the word? What's the word for enhance is the wrong one. I just write it down. And enhance, improve, enhance. Not what I want, Christ. I want something for foster, boost, promote. Let's use promote. And promote. And promote these sentences to be put into one paragraph question mark. Come on. I can see the issue. The Style Guide's paragraph rules state one primary point per paragraph, but allow, okay. However, the guide doesn't explicitly discourage single sentence paragraphs, which is what's happening. Okay. No, it's not that you should do it. Suggested addition under the style guide. Under paragraph rules section, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's do that. I think I copied it. And then we can go here to excuse me. List emphasis paragraph rule. Okay, I'm supposed to put it here. So now it says avoid single sentence paragraphs unless they serve a specific purpose. Okay. Group related concepts into cohesive paragraphs even if they could stand alone as individual sentences. Okay. Maybe that's a good approach to do that. So let's see what else we don't like. So I didn't like that it no. We go to the markdown stuff and say, okay, live preview. And it's here. Oh, why is that not a... So it's a list, but it's not a list. So I think it needs to be like that. Let me save it. Ah, okay. Okay. Let's go here. Human style lists. Void. Okay. If you have to use a list, ensure there is an empty line before and after it. Exclamation mark. Okay, so we got that. It did do it here. So we didn't like that, but we fixed it hopefully. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let's go to tech docs. Please copy, use the copy editor again to review and improve the file docs core concepts live preview using the skill human style. Bam. So where was that? It was here. So let's stay here and see if it changes something. Nice. Okay. Preview limitations. Let's read it again. Is it finished? No, not yet. Okay. Don't rush it. Fixing list spacing. Combine single sentence paragraphs in key sections. Nice. Improved overflow. The document now reads more smoothly with better paragraph cohesion. Perfect. So, understanding the preview interface. The bottom pane contains an editable text area where you enter sample input to test your grammar. As you type, GrammarKit parses the content and displays the resulting PSI structure in the structure view. Structure view, typically on the left side of the IDE, shows the parsed PSI tree for your preview content. This tree updates in real time, allowing you to verify rule matching, check PSI node hierarchy, validate element boundaries, and debug parsing issues. That is a paragraph. Perfect. I like that. With your cursor on a rule in the BNF file, this feature highlights all text in the preview that matches that rule. Green highlighting indicates successfully matched expressions, while red highlighting shows failed matched attempts. The preview uses a simplified lexer that extracts tokens and so on. So we got that. When multiple tokens could match the same input, the preview lexer follows these rules. Longer matches take precedence. Tokens defined earlier in the token sections win ties. Yeah, okay. Explicitly quoted strings and rules create implicit tokens. Okay, what? Explicitly quoted string. Oh, yeah, okay. I got that. The preview lexer automatically skips tokens that match only whitespace characters, are not referenced in any grammar rule, or are commonly named. So that is still well, we could ask it. Okay. Okay, so let's ask it. The text says that the preview lexer automatically skips. Does it say skip? Yeah. Skips tokens that are commonly named like this. Find evidence that this is find evidence in code or information files that this is true. Go. How about I destroy anything if I make big talk? Ooh. What is that? That was weird, right? Okay. Now I can see the key code. Let me examine the guest delegate type method more closely. I can see that it checks if a token is used in the grammar and if it ends with comment. Okay, case insensitive. But I don't see any check for specific names like white space, or white space. Let me check if there's any other code that handles these specific token names. Okay. I need to report my findings. That doesn't sound good. After examining the GrammarKit source code, particularly the live preview Lexer Java file, I found that the documentation is incorrect about automatically skipping token name. Okay. Here's what the code actually does. The guest delegate type method determines if a token should be treated as whitespace based on whether the token is not used in any grammar rule and whether its pattern matches a space or new line. Okay, so that makes much more sense. For comment tokens, it checks whether the token is not used in grammar rules and whether the token name ends with comment. Okay. There's no code that checks for specific token names like whitespace. Okay. The whitespace detection is purely based on the token not being used in grammar rules, the token's pattern matching whitespace. Correct behavior. The documentation should be corrected to say. Okay. Please fix the above mentioned issue. About whitespace tokens. Okay. And this is why you need a human in the loop. Yeah, it's really good. Honestly, I mean, there is Anthropic's Opus model in the background, right? So it's not just OpenCode. Has been removed. Okay, so let's check. So I don't even know where this was. White space. Okay, here was. The preview Lexer automatically skips tokens that match only whitespace characters and are not referenced in any grammar rule. Perfect. Thank you. Test with broken input to verify recovery behavior. Each addition with appropriate input. Add error recovery attribute. Okay. Test with broken input to verify recovery. Once your grammar handles all test cases correctly in preview, generate the parser, create a proper Lexer, implement parser definition, test with production data. Preview may split tokens differently. Okay, for example, string might be 3 tokens in preview, but a single string literal token in production. Preview's comment detection is pattern-based, while production lectures can handle nested comments, documentation comments, and comment-like content in strings. Genau. I think genau is not an English word. It means exactly. Preview treats any identifier-like token as a potential keyword, while production lectures typically define specific keyword sets, handle context-sensitive keywords, and optimize keyword recognition. Perfect, exactly. Best practice: structure your grammar to work well with preview. Test edge cases, including empty input, single token input, deeply nested structures, and error recovery scenarios. When a rule isn't matching as expected, place cursor on the rule, press that, check what text is highlighted, adjust rule or input accordingly. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Just 799 to go. So the big question is, can we iterate over that automatically? I don't know. And it cost us only 780. So there's a price to pay. The work here we did was 65,000 tokens. So C developer, do you have, so I was discussing this with a friend, with a colleague actually. So will this create basically a split into people who can actually pay for that and people who can't? It really makes me sad to think about that, right? But I am not sure we actually arrived at the real prices for token and the real prices for running these models. And as good as they are, they will get more expensive. Maybe not, but I don't know. Right? So what we don't know right now is if they're still supplementing that with venture capital, or if they actually have a margin. Yeah, and if they can sell it for more, right, and people still use it. I don't know, there's so many moving parts, and it's really hard to make an estimate of what happens. Yeah. We were, I mean, models don't get automatically more expensive, right? So I have another project, a scientific project where we still try to get a publication out, and it also uses an LLM. And we were switching from, I think, GPT 3.5 to 5.2. And I think 5.2 is cheaper because they made it slimmer. They made it better, but not as expensive. But I don't know if this is a trend. or something else. I have no clue. Model tried to call unavailable tool invalid. Okay, so let's call the plan agent. So we did lots of stuff here. Lots of stuff. So we created an initial draft, and that was quite expensive, right? And then we went over it, fixing the writing style that we really wanted to have. So, and the big question is, how can we do that correctly without doing it page by page manually? Okay, so question. In this session, we analyzed required content. We analyzed required content. We drafted and we copy edited. I think the past of edit is edit, right? Not edited. Edit. Oh no, it is edited. Okay. And we copy edited the page. How is it called? Preview something. Live preview .md several times. Let's I don't care about several times. It should be correct now. We started from the info. What? Started from the outline and let the agent inspect both the info folder as well as the GrammarKit directory. What would, what would be? Your task is I don't know what the task is. So, because, what we have is this workflow state thingy here that's not been filled out yet. Okay, your task is to create a prompt to do the same work for all missing pages and topics in docs. They are outlined in info documentation outline. My goal is to send to call this prompt with the TextDoc agent. Why can't I autocomplete that? I can call topic architect. Okay. With the TextDoc agent so that it can iterate through all remaining pages without filling up the context window. Let's see. You are tasked with creating comprehensive documentation for the GrammarKit project. The documentation outline is defined in this, and you should follow the established workflow pattern. Okay, so I'd say we go ahead. First, we make a commit. So we changed that one and we changed. Yeah, I know. It's very verbose, always. So we should be able to take that. Okay. Bam. Yeah. So now let's go ahead. New session. We want to use the agent TextDocs. We pasted 70 lines. Now, let's see. You know, so I mean, I'm using the agent here. I have one API key and just one agent running. So there's no real danger that it creates a big mess of costs. But I read about someone who wanted to use an agent to crawl web pages, and he used it. And the thing is, basically, he took a web page, inspected all links that were going outwards, and then it started a new agent because he was running it on some, I don't know, AWS cloud or something. He started a new agent for every subpage and inspected this page, right? And then basically his idea was, okay, so I'm making a boundary about the pages, around the pages that I want to inspect, so it should end something. So he pressed enter and went to bed. The thing is, he did not cache or store the pages he had already visited. So when he jumped basically from one page to another and saw a link back to a page he already inspected, he started a new agent to inspect this page as well. So I think, I'm not sure anymore. I think the at the end of the night, the invoice was something like 70K or something. Let me see if I can find that. Wait. How can we do that? Wait. Let's go here. I don't know. Let me do this here over there. Thinking search. So I heard a story about someone who wanted to use cloud AI agents to crawl web pages, but they forgot to cache the pages that were already visited. So they started, so that you can see something. So they started the first agent before going to bed and didn't realize that every page that referred back to the original would spin up another agent. The invoice for tokens after realizing the mistake was, I think, bigger than 50K. Can you find this story? Question mark. Sorry. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the story. Maybe it was just a screenshot of a Twitter something. I don't know. I don't remember. Web scraping crawler on Google Cloud Run that didn't handle page link back to each other. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay, I got it. I love ChatGPT. You register. Okay. So let's bring that up while our agent runs. So I can also post the thing here somewhere. Wait. There you go. Yeah. So see, I remembered somehow And it was already 2020. Here's the date. I don't know how I remember that. So Sudeep, whoever, Chauhan, founder of startup Milky Way, suffered the bad case of bill shock when a test with a $7 billing budget and a free database plan on Google Cloud Platform generated a 72K invoice overnight. I jumped out of bed, logged into Google Cloud Billing, and saw a bill for 5,000, he wrote on his company's blog. Super stressed and not sure what happened. I clicked around trying to figure out what was happening. I also started thinking of what may have happened and how we could possibly pay 5K bill. The problem was every minute the bill kept going up. After 2 hours, it settled at a little short of 72K. That's so good. It was especially surprising that it happened to him, I don't know, Chauhan, who is ex-Google and even spent 2 years as a payment technical program manager. What happened? The idea was to build a system that scraped web pages and stored the result in a database. His team picked Google Cloud Run, a GCP service that runs containers, for the job. They then found their code in each instance would time out and stopped as it scraped one page after the other. So they set up a many instance system that processed pages in parallel to get each page fetched and stored within the runtime limit. He wrote, to overcome the timeout limitation, I suggested using post requests to send jobs to an instance and to use multiple instances in parallel instead of using one instance serially. Because each instance in Cloud Run would only be scraping one page, it would never time out, process all pages in parallel, and also be highly optimized because Cloud Run usage is accurate to milliseconds. The ex-Googler reflected that he missed the possibility of pages that link back to each other, causing infinite recursion. It should not have mattered too much, though. He set a billing budget of $7 and had a Firebase database on a free plan. The worst case we imagined was exceeding the daily free Firestone limits. Okay, he said. Further, the credit card for the account had a spending limit of $100. Unfortunately, a billing budget does not automatically cap Google Cloud or Google Maps platform usage spending, according to the docs. While he was asleep after a day of testing, Google sent an automated email informing him that his free Firebase plan had been upgraded due to activity in Google Cloud, and that his initial billing for the initial billing for the project. Okay. He discovered multiple issues with GCP cost controls. Billing takes about a day to be synced, and that's why we noticed the charges the next day, he said. Next, the Firebase dashboard took more than 24 hours to update, he said. This meant that the dashboard showed usage within the daily limit when it was, he said, 86 million percentage points more than what was shown. Poor dude. Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. But that's just so funny. Oh. Most of the cost was down to Firebase read operations, really. So it wasn't even the tokens. So I misremembered that one. Even at just 6 cents per 100,000, multiply that by 100 billion. I'm so sorry. I really should. I think I read that only in a Twitter post. I never saw that article. Oh, God. Oh, good. That's so good. After going through our lengthy docs on the incident, sharing our side of the story, various consults, talks, and internal discussions, Google let go of our bill as a one-time gesture. gesture. I think you learned. Wait, I need to send that to my friend because I was exactly telling him that story, right? And but oh God, that's so good. Oh, yeah, and it's so old. I mean, it's 6 years ago, or maybe I don't know, 5 years ago. Yeah. Ah. Okay, so it's finished? No, it can't be finished. Okay, so the question was, can I do that? So no, it did not. So I think it did. So it did this one. Okay. So we got the attribute system, which is not filled. So I think there's probably, Okay, so maybe I should store the prompt. Wait. We have it here somewhere. Can I see my sessions? Sessions. Here. So we got the prompt here. Let me take that. And then we can fix it up and then we can use it. Here. There. Okay. Already got a subfolder with prompts. New new page. Yeah, edit. Okay. Let's see if there's something page. Your task with creating comprehensive documentation for GrammarKit project. Outlined, okay. And you should follow the established workflow pattern. Research content. Draft. Okay. Pages to document. Process all MD files in docs that contain only to-do placeholders. So I think that's useless, right? Because it can't know the thought process when it doesn't have access to the actual context that was used there. Research extensively before writing. Verify all technical claims. Apply the human style. Okay. Create documentation that helps users succeed. Begin with the next core concept after. Okay. So I think if we Okay, I need to pee for 1 second and then I'm back. Okay, I got an idea. So why don't we, so the outline here is has never been touched, right? So what we could do is we create a check mark behind everything so that the agent knows what has and what has not been documented. Okay, so let's task it with that. Think like that, switch, new session. So let me first, so BNF syntax, let me check. So it successfully, so we have not read this, right? We probably should do that. But maybe not now, right? So let's first just commit this here. Okay. Let's do the following. Can it do that? I'm not sure. Let's use the build here. Your task is to create a checkbox to each section in that has an accompanying page in the docs directory. If the markdown file in docs of the page in docs still contains to-do items, leave the checkbox unchecked. if the page is already written, has been written, already been written, create checked checkbox in the outline. Let's see if we can do that. That's good, because these are exactly the 3 pages that we already did. Nice. Yeah, it looks indeed very nice. Especially, you know, that it does these partial edits, and it doesn't read in the whole file. So you say the thing I'm learning is that AI seems to have different definition often than what it is in textbooks, especially when asking to help with literary analysis. Yeah, I had a hard time identifying the literary structure relating to the same. Okay, I can't speak that word. Juxtaposition, and okay, so I don't even know these words. Let me check them. I heard juxtaposition, but that's all I got. I heard it. Oh, okay, jetzt Gegenüberstellung oder Nebeneinanderstellung, okay. So I also think that it's really bad at creating lyrics for songs or something like that. Yeah. Contrasting scenarios as a comparison. Yeah, exactly. That's what Gegenüberstellung means in German. So yeah, I think I tried to create some lyrics and it's really bad, but I'm not sure I did it properly back then, right? So I have much more experience now, but I'm not sure it's really good at building rhymes and making making lyrics that are where you say something and everyone knows there's a deeper meaning, but it doesn't say it. I'm not sure it's really good at that. Okay, let's look. So we got the introduction to GrammarKit. Okay, so now fix the prompt in prompts, new page, so that I can so that the agent picks the next not unwritten page and works on that according to outline. What about double asterisk items? What are double asterisk items? No check off. Ah, you mean here? These? Okay, so it's markdown, right? So I can just put it side by side. Wait. So if you see here, it's basically installation and setup, and this is one page. And it should contain 3 sections, right? Installing, project setup, and first grammar. And this is basically the, what you say, double asterisk items, but these are just headings of this one page installation setup. So I think it's okay here, right? And then we have examples needed and visual aids and so on. So the double asterisk items just means make it bold in Markdown, right? Yeah. So I think that's okay. So, okay, so now fix the prompt in this one so that the agent, I think it's picks up, right? Picks up the next unwritten page and works on that according to, okay, go ahead. Okay, yeah, you can write what we did here. We can just, so your task look like this. I want to see it like that. So on the left, basically, you see the green stuff is added, right? So your task with creating comprehensive documentation for the GrammarKit project. The documentation outline is defined in here, and you should follow the established workflow pattern. Read this one and see the documentation structure with checkbox indicators. Okay, completed, incomplete. Select next uncompleted section following this priority order. Okay. Identify the corresponding MD file in docs. Yeah, right. And then I think the rest is okay. So it did something here for the selected documentation, and it said for each documentation page that contains only placeholders. Yeah, right. So it did create some white space. Okay. Okay, okay. Begin by reading to identify the next incomplete section. Then proceed with documenting that section. Okay, so let's commit that. Okay. And now we should be able to say new session. We select tag docs. Work on the task defined in new page. That should be all. Okay, wait. Stop. Okay, so read docs core concepts attribute system. So apparently, I'm not sure if all markdown files have already been created. So we have core concepts, attributes. Okay, so we need another run. Let's go back to the other session here. Switch session, this one. Okay. Ensure is wrong. So the outline can contain sections or headers that are named differently than the markdown markdown files in docs. Ensure that each topic in outline has a reference to the specific markdown file in docs. This will help the agent to find the right spot when writing documentation. Additionally, add this information how to reference from outline to markdown file to prompts, new page. Go. Let me continue with the remaining sections more efficiently. How embarrassing. I don't read my proofread my chat messages. Okay, so you don't have to, right? You know, for me, it's really hard because I think I'm not the worst when it comes to English, although it's my second language. And still, yeah. And still, if I write something and I have Grammarly on or any other spell or grammar checking thing, it seems I can't even write one sentence correctly. It's funny that you mention it. For a long time, I used Grammarly, and I still use it. But recently, if there's, for instance, text that has clearly been generated with AI, and it doesn't sound like AI, right? But it sounds like more like the thing we do here, right? And we put it into Grammarly, it will find errors. It will find things that it wants to change. And every time I look at the changes, I think now it reads much more boring. Maybe we should just relax a little and be more creative and be more free with the language. I don't know. But that's my honest feeling. Okay, so it did something, and it did something here. Let me see. So it added files, file, 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 file. Perfect. Okay, so we got files everywhere. It's good. The new page, what did change? So changed something here, but nothing serious. Oh, here. It says, use the file reference from the outline. Look for the file line under the selected section heading. This provides the exact path to the documentation file. Use this path to read and update the correct file. Perfect. Okay. I'm just committing so often so that I really see the changes and I can look at the diffs here. Okay. So can I do redo, rename? I can do undo. Okay. Oh, that doesn't look good. Okay. That still doesn't look good. Work on a task defined in that. Can you go away, please? I don't know. Wait, let's stop. I was maybe too quick. Okay. Let me say just exit here and open it again. Okay, so I want to use tag docs. I want to have, no, that's not it. Work on the task defined in prompts new page. I wasn't too sure if I really selected the tag docs agent at the very beginning. So you say my preparation for the stream has been primarily gathering the source code to be worked on, not much. I mean, look, for instance, tonight, I wasn't too sure if I really want to go online because I had no clue if this works out or if it's a complete disaster here, right? But I mean, no one's looking anyway, except you, which I'm very grateful for. But, right? And then I thought, okay, maybe something good comes out of it. And we're sitting here for, I don't know, at least 2 hours. I think we started at, wait, can I see that? I probably can share that here, right? With 2 hours and 17 minutes. Yeah. So it's not too bad, right? And we're having fun. And otherwise, I would have worked on the same thing and probably, I don't know, maybe I had a Netflix show running on the side. I don't know. But I really understand you, right? Because I also like watching Twitch. I usually like to watch Fortnite stuff. So I just have someone on that I like who plays Fortnite on the side. I really like Ship. And I know it's not for everyone. So I really like this dude. I don't even know if I have. So I usually watch Ship. And he's great. I mean, he's doing that for maybe 10 years, right? Full-time streaming. So he's online every day for usually 8 or more hours. I really admire that, honestly. I wouldn't like to switch, but I really admire it. Okay, so what did he do? So, by the way, I mean, I can explain a bit more, right? So the question is, how do these coding agents keep track of tasks that they have to do? Especially, so we've seen that it's really good if you subdivide tasks into smaller things they can work on, so that the main context doesn't get too cluttered. So it uses basically sub-agent for all these smaller parts here, and every sub-agent gets a new context, and it's really short, and it has a very narrow task description. And then you have this big orchestrator that does basically all the orchestration between the agents. And so what you have here, for instance, like this one is the to-do stuff. And I can show you. Wait 1 second. So here we got the agent. And if we look on the definition here, it has the ability to do read and to do write. So, and this is basically these things. So it has the ability to have a session memory where it can store stuff that it needs to do and recall it, right? And then you have basically memory that goes beyond the actual session. And for that, you can use simply things like a markdown file, like the flow state here that I have not used, right? So, and you could basically instruct the agent to say, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. It's basically the same what we did here when we introduced the these check boxes, right? So that the agent can come back, even if it's a new session, even if it's the next day, and see, okay, we worked on that, we worked on that. This is still unfinished, so I can continue working on this here. All right? So that's basically how the agent keeps track of what it needs to do. And that greatly improves the outcome. So, because for instance, for that step here, for drafting the initial documentation, it's using another agent. And when it's done, you have the markdown file, and then it's calling probably the copy editor. And it's again a new agent with a new context. Because you can imagine if you would do everything in one context, like going through all the code and searching for what you actually need to document, what you actually need to know to do the documentation, go through all the source code of that, right? Checking what you have, checking if you ticked all the small boxes, if you have enough information for all the bullet points, it would really blow up the context window. And basically the cost would skyrocket. But that's not the main problem. The main problem is the bigger the context window, basically the more you put into the context window, the more likely it is that the agents just forget stuff or doesn't do exactly what you like to do. It's much better if you have these things in very right? No, it's not. So right now we're at $1 here for this session. Yeah, I know. 72. Christ. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, basically this restricts really the sub-agents so that they never get out of control because they have a very narrow task they need to accomplish, and that's it. Also, we're running just one at a time. So this will be an interesting one. I'm sure I don't understand anything, or at least not everything it has to say about the attributes. GrammarKit attributes. We need to take care of that here. I'm not sure, but probably that should be links. I'm not sure yet. Let's wait until it finishes up and then we can take a look. I think we never had so much documentation for that. Every time it blinks or it's reloading, it changed something. Okay. Successfully completed documentation for GrammarKit attribute system at this one here. Here's what was accomplished. Thoroughly explored the GrammarKit source code to understand all available attributes. Read the official attribute documentation files from this one. Okay. Identified all global, rule, and pattern-based attributes with their usage patterns. Documentation created. The comprehensive documentation covers global attributes, complete configuration for parser generation, C classes, and token definition. Okay, fine. Rule attributes, detailed coverage of pin, recover while, extends, implements, methods, mix in, and other attributes. And pattern-based attributes, how to apply attributes to multiple rules using regex patterns. Key features. Practical, complete examples that users can copy and adapt. Yeah, we see to that. Clear explanation of when and why to use each attribute, best practices for error recovery, expression hierarchies, and token organization, real-world patterns for common parsing scenarios. Quality improvements. The documentation was edited following the human style guidelines too. Okay. That's probably stupid. To three main sections. Can be more, right? Eliminate motivational language and focus on task-oriented content. Use active voice and direct, clear writing throughout. Okay. So we got that. We haven't read it. Okay, let's see. GrammarKit uses attributes to control parser generation, configure PSI classes, define error recovery strategies, and customize parser behavior. Attributes are key value pairs enclosed in curly braces that appear at two levels. Global attributes apply to the entire grammar file and control parse MC generation, while rule attributes apply to specific rules and control their parsing behavior MC generation, representation. You can specify attributes directly on rules or apply them to multiple rules using pattern matching. Okay. Global attributes. Global attributes appear at the beginning of your grammar file and configure the overall code generation process. Okay, parser configuration attributes control the generated parser classes and its dependencies. Use parser class to specify the fully qualified name of the generated parser class. Okay, we got parser class, parser package. What does it say? Parser package for the package containing parser related classes, parser util class for custom parser utility methods, and parser imports for additional imports needed by the generated parser. PSI configuration attributes define how GrammarKit generates the program structure interface classes. The PSI package and PSI implementation package attributes specify where to generate PSI interfaces and their implementation. Use PSI class prefix to add a consistent prefix to all generated PSI class names. For instance, mylang results in mylang file, mylang function, and so on. Okay. And PSI implementation class suffix to customized implementation class suffixes. The PSI implementation util class attribute points to a utility class containing helper methods for PSI implementations. Okay. Generation options control various aspects of code generation throughout the generate attribute, which accepts parameters like Java version, generate Java 8, names long, visitor no, PSI yes. I didn't know that exists, honestly. Utility classes, helper methods. Utility class. Helper methods, yeah. We need to look, at some point, we need to look at a specific example, because I don't remember exactly where, if this utility class was generated and it just contained methods that were used in the parser. But I think that was the case. I'm not sure anymore. Yeah, we can. So let's see. What we can do is we can take existing one. We can look on, for instance, IntelliJ Rust here. Maybe on the source, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't use Rust. Because I wouldn't know where to look there because the project is so big. Maybe here. What we can do is, wait, let's see. We have grammars here and Erlang parser util. Let's check for that. Question is that generated or is it not? Enter method, exit method. So these are all static classes. That probably looks generated. Yeah. So I think it extracts common methods there that are needed throughout parsing. Like next token is something here, right? And because it's needed throughout the parser to check if the next token is in some set of tokens or is a specific token, I think this is just put away for as a utility class. Yes, so that is a helper method. And you see here, it's basically one class, parser util. I think we should be able to say, okay, let's see, wait, exit method. In this file, CN is referenced here inside the parser implementation. And since it's used several times, it's put into a utility class. I think that was the key of it. So you don't need to care about that. I think it's created automatically. So we were somewhere here. Names style, long for better debugging. Visitor pattern support and whether the generated C classes or token and whether to generate C classes or token constants. The generate token attribute controls whether the generated token type constant in the element type holder class. Oh God. What? The generate tokens. This is here. The generate token attribute controls whether to generate token type constants in the element type holder class. Okay, I think for my handwritten parser I did that, while generate first check optimizes first set checking by specifying the maximum look ahead depth. Oh Christ. The tokens attribute defines both literal tokens and pattern-based tokens. Okay, this is clear. So this is a literal token, right? Or this, and we have pattern-based tokens. Rule attributes control parsing behavior and C generation for individual rules. You can apply them directly to rules or use pattern matching to apply them to multiple rules at once. The most important rule attributes are pin, recover while, extends, implements, methods, and mixin. The pin attribute marks the position in a sequence where the parser commits to that parse branch. Once a pinned element is matched, the parser will not backtrack even if later elements fail. Okay, I get that. So if we say pin 1, as soon as it parsed function, it will commit to that rule here. And if you don't provide a valid ID, it will show an error. Pin with pattern matching. Pin first element in all elements. and all statements. Okay. And that basically matches everything that ends with statement, like this or this. Pin works with error recovery to create robust pauses. In a parenthesized list, pinning the opening parenthesis ensures the parser commits to parsing a list once it sees the opening parentheses. The items rule pins the first item, and each item uses recovery while to skip invalid content until it finds a comma or closing parentheses. Okay, so we can say here a list is, it's pinned to 1. So as soon as you see a parentheses, it will try to parse a thing that is surrounded by parentheses. Then we have items, which can be an item or more items. And here it says what does this say? Okay, I think I get the idea behind it. And then you can say, okay, an item is an expression. And if it can't parse the expression, it should continue until it sees item recover. Which is a comma. Okay, so everything that's not a comma. No, wait. Private item recover. Until it finds a comma or closing parentheses. So item recover matches everything except of a comma or a closing parentheses. The recover while attribute specifies a predicate, a rule that determines when to stop error recovery. So a statement can be an assignment, an if statement, or while statement. And then you make a private rule because it should not be included in the PSI. And this is everything that is not semicolon, closed braces, an if, a while, or an ID. Okay. I didn't know that I didn't know so many things. I mean, I haven't used it extensively. The extends and implements attributes control the C class hierarchy for better API design. All expression rules extend a common base. Okay, so everything is an expression. Fake. It uses fake here. Other important rule attributes include name to override the psi class name. Okay. Name is identifier generates identifier implementation instead of ID token implementation. Element type to share element types between rules, and stub classes to enable stub support for indexing. The element type attribute is particularly useful with fake rules to create shared base types for similar constructs. Okay. Pattern-based attributes apply settings to multiple rules, matching a regular expression pattern, reducing repetition and ensuring consistency across your grammar. Okay. Okay, so we can say pin everything to one that is a statement. Patterns or Java regular expressions apply to rule names. More specific patterns override general ones, and direct rule attributes always override pattern-based ones. When multiple attribute sources apply to a rule, they resolve in order of precedence. Direct rule attributes first, then pattern-based attributes, followed by global extends implements defaults, and finally GrammarKit defaults. Here's how precedence works in practice. Okay. For all expressions, that's more specific, I see. And this is rule specific. For robust parsing, combine pin and recover while attributes strategically. Pin commits the parser to specific parse path once it matches a key token, while recover while skips invalid content until it finds a synchronization point. Okay. This combination enables parsers to handle malformed input gracefully. When designing expression hierarchies, use pattern-based extends attributes to create a clean psi structure. Define base expression rules and group related expressions together. Use fake rules to establish abstract base classes in your psi hierarchy. Okay, so at this point, we need to loosen up the free headline rule. I think that's lots of content for one. for 2 to 4 major sections on a typical page. Use H3 only when it helps scanning with a long section. For example, to separate distinct tasks or concepts. Okay. The question is, do we have another place where we really dig into the attributes? Core concepts. Core concepts. That's here, that one, right? Pattern matching examples. So do I need to? Okay, no, I don't want to do that. Please add to that it checks checks the checkbox of the page created. So in outline, so that it is not regenerated next time. Since I just completed the attribute system documentation, let me now update. Okay, perfect. Okay. So what do we have open still? We have BNF grammar syntax, do we? Yeah, we read that, right? Don't have installation. We don't have quick sort yet. Okay. Um, okay, so that will be the last one. Then I need to sleep. Installation and setup requirements from documentation outline. Okay. Yeah, I stayed up. I don't have any meeting tomorrow. I can sleep in. It's okay. It's only, oh God, I don't want to look at the clock. 4:30. Depending on where you are, it's probably maybe 10 in the evening, right? Or 8. You're 8 hours behind. Oh, you're lucky. Yeah, lucky. It's 8:30. I don't want to go to bed. Now let me use the Explore agent to research the GrammarKit source code for installation and setup information. Sure, go ahead. I wish it would do it the other way around. I thought you're more the C guy, the C and C++ guy. So what I used in the past is, wait, let me check. Here I use that one for a pretty complex grammar called CPP paglib. It's just, I think it was just a header, nothing more. And I used it to parse a pretty complex. You're into C heavily. Yeah, that's unfortunately C++. But it worked really well. And basically you can also just provide the grammar here. Let's look at comma separated values. It's really nice. I don't even have access to that anymore, I think. Let me check. Do I? Wait. Repositories. Hmm. Probably not. No, I don't. Can't even show you. That was a big grammar. Yeah, I will run 100 in parallel. So I think this step takes so long because it did not read the info folder before, where I have this large collection of meta information about each file. So we need to fix that. But I think I can work in parallel. I can just say switch session. Like this here. No, that was a new session. Okay, let's say build. Here we can say no, we can't do that. Fix the prompt in prompts new page so that it first checks the folder info. No. Info. And especially gathers information which files to inspect in the GrammarKit directory from the meta information in info, no, it's not information, info file meta. This should allow the agent to do a more narrow search of files in the GrammarKit directory. More targeted and efficient. No, that was the wrong one. Which is running here? It should be that, right? Is it really finished? I think so. Let's see. Okay. It's finished here as well. Okay, so new page, what did it do? So we got this section, change something here. Okay, so first, check info file meta to identify relevant files. Find sections related to your documentation topic. Note specific files mentioned. Create a focused list of files to inspect. Review other files in info folder. Research content. Okay, sounds good. And it just changed the numbers here, I guess. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's commit that. And then we can look on the installation stuff. Where is it? Where is it? Not here. Here. So getting started, installation and setup. This page covers installing GrammarKit and configuring a language plugin project. You'll set up the plugin, create a product structure, and write your first grammar file. Okay, these things are, I mean, they depend on the version of GrammarKit you're using, but I checked out basically the master, and I think that was the latest version. So this is also not true anymore because we don't have a community or an Ultimate Edition anymore. But it can't know that. This needs heavy rework, pretty sure. That's definitely not correct. What happens if I... Okay. So the Slack is not there anymore, but basically the old information is coming from the repository itself. So we need to check that. Okay, good. So I think installation is set up. Okay. So we will leave that as it is right now because it's a start. Okay. So, okay, so now I need to try one more because we fixed the stuff. New session. Work on the task defined in new page. Let me start. Now let me explore GrammarKit source. Okay, so it read first the file meta, which is okay. Now I don't understand why we don't get such a nice to-do list anymore. I wonder what it comes up with now because I see it's inspecting all the test data stuff. Oh, now we get to-dos. Why does it read the files again? Come on, copy editor. These are not lists here. Okay, so this page guides you through designing effective grammar rules for a language parser. You'll learn how to organize your grammar, apply common patterns, and avoid pitfalls that can lead to parsing errors or poor performance. The techniques presented here help you create maintainable grammars that generate efficient parsers with clean PSI hierarchies. Understanding how GrammarKit processes rules and generates codes. Each public rule becomes a C element type, while private rules serve as internal parsing logic without creating AST nodes. This distinction drives many organizational decisions. Begin your grammar with the highest level constructs and work down to terminals. This approach naturally creates a logical PSI hierarchy and makes the grammar easier to understand. Start with your root rule that defines what constitutes a complete file in your language. The structure provides clear entry points and natural recovery boundaries. The private file element rule handles the choice without creating an intermediate PSI node, while the recovery rules ensure the parser can continue after errors. Identify the major constructs in your language and create rules that reflect their logical structure. Group related rules together and use consistent naming patterns. Okay. Okay. So I think that doesn't look too bad. I'll continue with that tomorrow, maybe. All right, I'm done for tonight. Thanks everyone who was here, keeping me company. Thanks a lot for that. Highly appreciate it. I'm going to bed now and try to read a few pages and then fall asleep, hopefully instantly. See you, developer. See you next time, hopefully. All right, I'm out. I just need to find the stop button here. See you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.